we're going to get started with the agenda portion of the meeting. We got ordinances on second reading. One, ordinance of the City of New Brunswick and the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the City of New Brunswick to enter into a financial agreement with 78 Eastern Avenue Urban Renewal LLC and granting a tax exemption. Two, amend and supplement the management salary ordinance. Add title, senior technician information systems, and amend 2 salary ranges. 3, amend the Municipal Employees Association MEA ordinance. Add title, public safety telecommunicator trainee. Then we have ordinances on first reading. 1, ordinance to amend the salary ordinance, provide for the compensation pursuant NJSA 26.2B-32 ETSEQ. 2, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 3, Revenue and Finance, Chapter 3-28, Fee Schedule, Section 3-28-120, Parks and Recreation Fees. Reference to amend recreation fees, basketball and soccer leagues, and replacement of ID cards for the teen center gym. Then we have resolutions. Resolution number 1, approve the agenda amendments. 2, approve payroll. 3, authorize refund and redeem tax sale certificates. 4, approve rejection of bid and authorization to rebid for a portable activated cartridge system. Rebid specification number 61517WR. 5, approve request for use of city property. Sidewalk only, requested by State Theater, location sidewalk in front of the State Theater, Livingston Avenue, for outdoor free show welcome patrons to the show. Date Saturday, October 27th, 2017, time 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. 6, approve request for use of city property, sidewalk only, requested by Boya, galvanizing and organizing youth activism at Rutgers. Location begin at Nickel Avenue, George Street, Albany Street, Eastern Avenue, Bugalo Park, College Avenue, to Student Center for 16th Annual Walk for Literacy. Date Friday, October 6, 2017, time 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. 7, approve request for street closing, requested by Our Lady of Mount Carmel Roman Catholic Church, beginning at 75 Moore Street to Livingston Avenue, Weldon Street, George Kittle Avenue, Sedan Street, Livingston Avenue, New Street, church parking lot for religious procession of the Lord of Miracles from Peru. Date Sunday, November 5th, 2017, time 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. 8, approve payment for special defender service of Richard Beach for August 2017 and September 5th, 2017, not to exceed $1,950. 9, approve request for use of city property, requested by Alpha Zeta Omega Pharmaceutical Fraternity, location Bugalo Track, for charity walk to benefit pancreatic cancer, working with the Luster Garden Foundation. Date Sunday, October 22nd, 2017, time 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. 10, request for use of city property, requested by New Jersey Skate Shop Incorporated, location Recreation Park, free skateboard demonstration by Volcom skateboard team. Date Saturday, September 23rd, 2017. Time 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. 11, approve resolution for authorizing a shared services agreement by the City of New Brunswick and the Township of North Brunswick for Farrington Lake access. 12, authorize purchase by the Police Department under New Jersey State Contract number 7-PROSB-0079, language link for use of telephone-based interpretation services. Term, 3-month period commencing September 22nd, 2017 and ending December 31st, 2017, not to exceed $850. 13, approved purchase by engineering department under the state contract for Hitchcock's Fleet Services for one 2018 Dodge Durango. 27, not to exceed $27,500. Okay. 14, approve amendment for resolution of R-071-114, reason to pay additional in the amount of $10,000 for Arthur Dibble, Jr. Esquire, the law firm for Pruzy, McDermott, Mastro, Murphy, for special counsel for 1 year, 2017, for New Brunswick Police Department, not to exceed $10,000. 15, approve amendment of resolution R-07153, change order number 1 with Garden State Highway Products for 2017 furnish and deliver regulatory sign, specification number 912-17, amount of $256. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 50% or more of the amount of the original contract. 16, authorize the application and execution of grant agreement with 2018 Transportation Trust Fund with New Jersey Department of Transportation for Joyce Kimmer Avenue roadway improvements from Loretto Street for 12th Street. Project ID number MA 2018, New Brunswick City, 02227. 17, authorized application and execution of grant agreement 2018 Transportation Trust Fund program with New Jersey Department of Transportation for Nickel Avenue road improvements from George Street to Sanford Street. Project ID number MA 2018 New Brunswick City 0028. 18, approve awarded contract with Matrix New World Engineering, Land Surveying and Landscape Architecture PC, Design and Construction Engineering Service for the Welcome Street Park. Specification number 91417 RFP, not to exceed $48,800. 19, approve amendment of resolution. Reason to pay the additional amount of $4,000 with Bridgewater Veterinary Hospital for veterinary services for K-9 unit for the police department from $3,707 to $7,768. 20, pulled an unnecessary request that the city clerk approve ABC liquor license renewal. 21, approve awarded contracts, furnish and deliver trees for the fall tree planting with Barbado Nursery Corporation for items A, C, E, F, H, I, J, with not to exceed $15,593, with Schicksel's Nursery Incorporated for items B, D, and G, not to exceed $1,406. Specification number 61317P. 22, approve amendment of resolution. Reason additional amount for $60,000 for the water utility with B&W Construction of New Jersey for equipment and labor not to exceed $60,000. Approval of this change order will constitute an increase of 20% or more of the original contract. 23, approve appointment of counsel for Lawrence Goodman for the representation of Police Detective Ryan DeGraw in the matter of James C. Campbell, City of New Brunswick, et al., not to exceed $10,000. 24, approve amendment of resolution. Reason, change in street location of event. Approve request for street closing. Request by Rutgers Department of Major Events Program. Location Sickert Street between Bartlett and Senior Streets and Morrell Street between Sickert Street, College Avenue for annual homecoming charity bed races. Date Thursday, October 19, 2017. Time 7 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Police extra duty. 25, approve resolution to authorize refund of escrow to Recon Services LLC, amount of $1,831.78. 26, approve amendment of resolution R-011747. Reason, pay additional charges for Wilkes and Goldman Spitzer for bond for 2017 bond council, not to exceed $5,838.03. 27, approve awarded contract with Jack Construction Corporation, Diamond Construction for installation of ADA ramps at Lee Avenue and Lawrence Street, at the Nielsen Street, at Bayard Street. Specification number 915-17, not to exceed $24,552.00. 28, approve amendment of resolution. Reason, additional dates added, requested by Gilbane Building Company. Reason, to place a crane to complete the building hoisting operation at the clinical academic building on 125 Patterson Street and Route 27. Date Saturday, October 7th, 2017 and October 28th, 2017. 29, approve a resolution authorizing the subrecipient agreement between the City of New Brunswick and New Brunswick Tomorrow for Community Development Housing Capacity Building Initiative. 30, authorize the lease of copy machine for the Division of Recreation from Ricoh USA Incorporated for one Ricoh model MP355 SPG copier system, not to exceed $162.51 per month, commencing November 1st, 2017, ending October 31st, 2021, 48-month state contract number 40467 G2075 copiers, maintenance and supplies. 31, approve application for acceptance of execution grant. New Brunswick Tomorrow for 2018 Friendly Center. 32, approve authorization for acceptance of grant with Middlesex County Department of Community Services. Fiscal year 2018 for New Brunswick Alliance on Substance Abuse. Prevention, cash match, $8,508.50. Grant, $34,034. 33, authorize tax collector to transfer credits on several tax and utility accounts. 34, approve request for street closing requested by the Development Corporation location, Livingston Avenue between the Heldridge Driveway and George Street for groundbreaking ceremony for the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center project. Date Wednesday, October 4th, 2017. 35, press request for street closing requested by Mount Zion AME Church, location Hildebrand Way between Nielsen Street and John Street for religious event for the community in celebration of 190th anniversary of the church. Date Saturday, September 30th, 2017. Time 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Police extra duty. Then we have public discussion and dates to remember and so on and so forth. Do you have anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Here. Here.
All right. Meeting will come to order. Will the clerk please do us the honor of calling the roll?
Council Vice President Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Escobar is absent. Councilmember Sikora Ludwig. Here. Council President Fleming.
Here. Please be advised that the notice of requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act has been complied with and satisfied that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings, and the municipal clerk of the city of New Brunswick has been filed with the city clerk and has been placed on the appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, has been transmitted to the official newspaper of New Brunswick, namely the Home News. May please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please have a moment of silence, especially for those tonight who are suffering over the island, especially in Puerto Rico, because we know that things happen, and those that are affected all across the Caribbean and the United States that lost their lives, and those that want to try to rebuild their lives through this time, and also, of course, those that defend freedom around the world and those that have given their lives in defense of freedom.
Second. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Sikora Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. Okay, we have no public hearings, so we'll go on to ordinances on second reading. One, an ordinance of the City of New Brunswick and the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the City of New Brunswick to enter into a financial agreement with 78 Eastern Avenue Urban Renewal LLC and granting a tax exemption. Would anyone from the public like to speak on this ordinance?
Good evening, members of the council. I'm Charles Cradaville of New Brunswick, the editor of New Brunswick Today, community newspaper. So this is for the 30 to 35 year tax exemption, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a representative here of the company that wants to get this sweet deal?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me, is any part of this building going to be used for a public purpose, or is it entirely for the purpose of private profit?
It's all private. Mr. Patterson, I'm going to elaborate.
I don't know what Mr. Cradaville exactly means by a public purpose. We'll have a retail space in it that will be open to the general public. But if it was a public project, it wouldn't be paying any taxes.
I've just seen statements given to, for instance, the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center that does have, at least part of it, is a public purpose, correct? The county.
What do you think you elaborate on?
I'm saying some buildings, like this one, have a public purpose. Other buildings have a purpose that's entirely private.
Mr. Cradaville is incorrect. He was referring to the cultural center. That tax exemption there was for the apartments that are being built there, similar to what is being built here. The theaters don't have the abatement, or basically paying nothing, because they do have a public purpose. The parking deck there is owned by the parking authority. It doesn't pay a pilot.
Thank you for the clarification. And so in that building, the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center, I believe that 20% of the rental apartments there are set aside for individuals with low or moderate income. Can you tell me in this building, 78 Easton Avenue, that this out-of-state company wants to build, are they planning to set aside any of those 181 units for lower moderate income individuals?
No, it's not. The project is directed at the student housing market. It is a block from the Rutgers campus. Students are not eligible to move into affordable housing that you would find in an 80-20 project, so that wouldn't work on a project like this.
And there's a couple of storefronts in this building, correct? Yeah. Can you tell me, will either of those stores on the ground floor, those spaces, be set aside for uses that are needed by city residents, or are we looking at another convenience store and a pizza shop?
As Mr. Crowdwell knows, we asked similar questions at the planning board meeting. The spaces haven't been leased yet. The project hasn't been built. That's going to be about 2 years. I'm sure it's going to be a project that the community needs because it's going to serve people from the community. You know, we don't know what exactly is going to go in there at this point, but they will make an application for whatever uses come to lease that space.
Okay. So the question then is simple. If the building is not being built for a public purpose, it's being built entirely for the purpose of the private profit of this out-of-state company, if none of the units are being set aside for lower moderate income individuals, and if none of the retail spaces are being set aside for businesses that offer services needed sorely by city residents, then why are you approving a special exemption for them from paying the regular taxes like the other property owners?
What type of set aside you said for that residents would need? What type of businesses?
That's a good question. I'd like to explore that. Do you?
I'm asking you. You asked the question.
Well, I'm saying I predict a pizza shop and a convenience store. If there's not any promise in advance.
I can predict anything, but I mean, you asked what type of building do these residents? You said something that they need, that the residents need. So what type of services would you say that we needed? I mean, a convenience store.
A diner. Well, a diner. We got 60,000 people. We don't have a diner in the city. That would be one. A diner. Yeah.
Oh, so convenience stores. I mean, you said a convenience store. So we don't need a convenience store.
Right. There's plenty in that neighborhood already. There's many convenience stores in that neighborhood. I used to live there, and there's 0 diners in the whole city. So that would be one. Maybe a place where you could buy clothing also. That would be nice, right? But here's what I'm saying. There's no guarantee it's going to be anything. It could be vacant storefronts for 30 years. And indeed, if you look at the tax abatements that you've approved in recent years, it's a trail of broken promises. We've got the Aspire, which is supposed to have a grand walkway leading up to it. From Easton Avenue, the parking authority sold them that parking lot so that they could make it into a grand pedestrian walkway. Have you seen that lot there on Easton Avenue? Why didn't that come true?
Can you stick to the resolution?
Okay. Also, I point out the Matrix tax abatement has been.
I mean,
You gave that years ago, and that building's still not on.
We're talking about this.
So I'm saying that these developers, unless you force them to promise to do good, they're going to look out for themselves. They're going to only do the things that make them the most profit, and they're not going to look out for the neighborhood or the cost of housing or the services that the people in the neighborhood desire. They're going to do what makes them the most money. And no one could even have the courtesy or the courage to come out here tonight, and they want you to give them a great deal. Why are you going to give them a great deal at the taxpayer's expense for the next 3 decades?
Are you speaking right now for the people that live in the neighborhood? Have you done a long-term survey of what the people in the neighborhood need and what are their long-term needs?
I'll tell you.
Now I'm asking,
I'll tell you
a question. Just answer the question.
What's the question?
I just said.
Have I done a survey of everyone in the neighborhood?
Yes, no.
No, I have not done a survey of everyone in the
Okay, so
neighborhood. Have you done a survey of everyone in the
how do you know what
neighborhood?
the long-term needs are of the people in the neighborhood? How are you speaking for them right now?
Have you done a survey of long-term needs of the neighborhood?
Yeah, when I was elected, to represent the people in New Brunswick.
You did a survey.
No, I was elected to represent.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think they need in that
But-
neighborhood? Do they need student housing?
Okay,
9 stories of student
You
housing?
still haven't answered the question. You haven't answered the question. I'm just asking you.
I did answer your question. No, I did not do a survey
Okay,
of
so how
everyone
do
in
you
the
know,
neighborhood
how do you
about
know
their
that,
needs.
what is the needs of the people? What are the needs of the people in that neighborhood?
I know how tax abatements work.
No, I didn't ask you that.
And,
I didn't ask you
okay,
that.
what's your question?
I just asked you, you are purporting to be a spokesperson for the people in the neighborhood.
I didn't
You
say
said-
that.
You said that
I
you
didn't
knew.
say that, sir.
You just said that you know, you said that we are voting on bad deals for the people in the neighborhood. Who are you representing right now who are in the neighborhood? How do you know the needs of the people in the neighborhood? Or even the people who live in the neighborhood?
Here's how I know. because I go to a lot of government meetings, and I read a lot, and I study a lot, and I know how pilot payments work, and tax abatements work. And the way they work is by robbing the school system of millions of dollars. And that's why I'm against this. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take the hundreds of thousands or million every year that would go to the school system. It's probably about $500,000 that would go to the school system if you didn't pass this tonight. And you're going to take it and you're going to rob it from them. And you're going to give some of it back to the developer as a discount, and you're going to keep the rest for the city government. And even though there will definitely be some children in the school system as a result of this construction, and the developer will be profiting from the special deal you give them, even though both of those things are true, they will pay $0 to the school system for that building.
So which one of the children, can you name somebody, one child in the system? Name somebody in the system that you're speaking for.
You're asking me to name a child?
Yes. I have.
The kids at my block, what are you talking about,
No,
man?
because I have an investment in the system because my kids go to the New Brunswick school system. And I know the difference between just using hyperbolic statements saying that the kids are going to get robbed, and I know how schools are supposed to be funded. And it's not strictly off of property taxes. When New Jersey, in the next few years, when we cancel out the park exams, of course, it's a little bit because you don't want to hear it. When we cancel out the park exams, which is millions of dollars, when we work on the new funding sources that's coming into the schools, then the schools will be properly funded. Not just because of tax abatements. And then tax abatements long term, it's going to benefit the city because we have more investments coming into the city. So you're saying, first you represent the people in the neighborhood, now you're saying you're representing kids in the school system.
Last question, have you spoken to anyone on the Board of Education about this abatement?
Yes, I have.
What'd they say?
Time's up.
That's what they
Now,
said?
actually, you haven't answered my question.
What question would you like to answer? I'll hang out as long
I
as
tell
you
you what, you know what I'm talking to? I talked to several parents who also have kids in the school system. And you don't represent them.
And they said they support the tax abatement
You don't,
for
they
Easton
say that you
and
don't, well,
Hamilton.
That's
what they told you?
You don't represent them right now.
Okay. Which board
No, I'm
members
sorry,
did you
your time
speak
is
to
up.
and what did they
Come back during the
say?
public. Your time
Which
is
board
up.
members did you speak to and
Your
what did
time
they
is
say
up.
about the abatement?
Your time is up.
I got that one in before the buzzer.
No, you
What did
didn't.
they say about it,
Mr.
sir?
Crowder.
You refused to say
Mr.
what the
Crowder.
board members,
No, no.
or name the board
When you
members that you
answer
spoke
my
to
two
about
questions,
this.
then you
Say.
can Mr. Crowder, your time is up. Thank you.
Well, I hope some people will actually be interested in this and will question your decisions and your claims that you've spoken to the Board of Ed about this. You better
Okay.
believe I'm going to follow
Yes,
up on it.
okay, thank you. Anybody else from the public?
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Sisler. I am curious about one of the questions that was asked, and maybe you can help me understand. If you are voting to approve this tonight, why is it that you're voting to approve it? I'm assuming you feel that this is a benefit.
I'm sorry, can you just repeat that a little bit? Why?
If you vote yes tonight for this, I'm assuming you are voting yes because you believe this is a benefit. So can you help me understand why you feel this is a benefit and why you'd be voting yes?
Well, personally, like I said, I've already given mine. I believe that when we give certain incentives for the city to expand, for certain things to be built in the city, I've seen where abatements have worked before. We've given it, and it was the same arguments before, and I believe that long term, it's going to help and it's going to benefit us. And I personally don't believe that it's going to rob kids of the,
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
don't confuse me with
Oh, no, I'm not. No, that's what I'm saying. That's my
Charlie
personal.
had
Anybody else?
his 5 minutes. I'm just asking why you.
Yeah, that was my personal. If anybody else wanted to elaborate.
No problem.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
No problem. Like I said, that's the question that I
That's
like
the
to have.
difference in the taxes they pay now, and the taxes we will get.
It's substantial. I think if I'm not mistaken,
The
they bring
property's
the
paying about
file.
$75,000 a year in taxes now, and the proposed abatement will be paying about $1.1 million. It's about 14 times more than what they are paying there now.
And if they were not provided this abatement, what would the taxes with the proposed building actually be?
Based on adequate sold the property, by the taxes.
It would be based on what the assessment is. That hasn't been done yet, but it would be, probably, 30% more, but get split up differently. And I think it's unlikely that the project would get built if we did not weren't able to offer this to the developer to get this built, to build 181 new units for the student population in that neighborhood.
All right, so that's the primary consideration is continue spur development?
I mean, mine is this long-term investment. It's not just a spur of more development. I mean, you know, you have good development, then you have overdevelopment at times. So I just think that this is conducive to the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Seeing none?
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. And we have two, second two, an amended management salary ordinance, add title, Senior Technician Information System, and amend two salary ranges. Anybody from the public want to speak on this ordinance?
Good evening once again, Charles Cradwell, New Brunswick Today. Can you please tell me for what purpose, can some member of the council tell me for what purpose you're passing this tonight?
Somebody that has that expertise.
Maybe somebody on the council knows?
I recommended the action by the council. We currently have in our management ordinance a technician information systems title. It was recommended to me by the police department that I consider a senior title. So having reviewed that, I thought it was a good idea. It allows for a progression of people towards promotion. So I made the recommendation to the council for their action tonight.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, is this related to the next ordinance, or is it just?
Independent.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Seeing none?
It's on the ordinance.
Second. Council Vice President Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. 3, amend the Municipal Employees Association MEA ordinance, add public safety communication, telecommunication and training. Anybody from the public like to speak on this one?
Good evening once again, Charles Cradwell, New Brunswick Today. Can you just tell me for what purpose, maybe a member of the council can tell me for what purpose this ordinance is being passed tonight?
Someone that has expertise on it. I understand that you want to.
Again,
Someone can answer this.
my recommendation to the council to add a new title to the MEA ordinance. The MEA is one of our organized labor units here in New Brunswick. Again, at the recommendation of the police department, they have asked me to consider adding a title. It's a public safety telecommunicator trainee. Public safety telecommunicator are police dispatchers. They asked for a trainee title for the first 12 months of employment. Having looked at it, it seemed to make sense. I consulted with the MEA. They were in agreement with it, so we're presenting it to you tonight for your action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none?
Move the ordinance.
Second. Council Vice President Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. And we have ordinances on first reading. 1, amend the management salary ordinance, reference to provide compensation pursuant to NJSA 26-2B-32. SEQ.
Move the ordinance setting down October 4th at 6:30 PM, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. All right, and we have 2, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 3, Revenue and Finance, Chapter 3-28.28, Fee Schedule, Section 3-28-120, Parks and Recreation Fees, reference to amend the recreation fees, basketball and soccer league, and replacement ID cards for team and gym.
Move the ordinance setting down October 4th at 6:30 PM, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. All right, now we go to the resolutions. We have resolution number 1 up to 35. Anybody from the public like to speak on the would like to speak on them? And those alone, you have 5 minutes. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening once again, Charles Cradwell, New Brunswick Today. First one I want to ask about is 749, the rejection of the bid for portable activated carpet system. I assume that's the water utility?
That is.
Yes.
Can I hear a little about why the bid is rejected and it's being rebid?
Oh, okay.
Yes, we only received one bid for this unit, and unfortunately, the bid came without a bid surety, so it didn't have the bid bonds associated with it. So by law, it has to immediately be rejected. We're in the process of rebidding it. We currently have a unit that we're leasing, and we'll just continue to lease until the bid goes through.
I want to thank the water director for always giving thorough answers. I got another one for him. 756, what's the deal with this Farrington Lake situation? I think
It's more of a question for me. This is an agreement with North Brunswick. They own the Polta Farm. They're turning it into a bit of an outdoor recreation getaway, if you will, and they've asked access into Farrington Lake for canoeing and kayaking, and we're granting them that permission in the form of a shared services agreement.
So this is a private farm that's now going to have access to the lake?
It is a publicly owned farm that was once private.
Open space, okay.
It's the North Brunswick Recreation Department asked for consideration.
Okay, and this doesn't have to do with the situation with the, private homes near the lake?
No.
Next one is 758. I'd like to ask about this Dodge Durango going to be purchased for the engineering department. Is it going to be marked in any way? Is it going to be marked?
I'm sure it'll be white with a city decal on it. Whether it's numbered, I don't know. We'll give that some thought, thank you. But yes, I believe it will be decal.
The reason I ask is because I noticed the water utilities taking the initiative of marking all their vehicles so that they're clear. And I honestly don't understand why any city vehicles aren't marked at this point. So I hope that, constructive suggestion, maybe that could happen to the ones that aren't marked. Can I get a comment on 768, a new lawsuit here, or I guess it was filed a while ago, but it's the first time you're appointing counsel for Detective DeGraw. Can you tell me about the status of the case and the nature of this the accusation?
This case actually wasn't filed a while ago. It was recently filed, the city was recently served. It stems back to an incident that apparently happened in 2012. Mr. Campbell was representing himself pro se in a lawsuit against the city and other police officers for wrongful arrest and wrongful prosecution, etc. And this particular request came through Detective Ryan DeGraw, who was a patrol officer apparently at the time, and is authorized Mr. Bitterman's representation of him on punitive damage claims. I do anticipate future resolutions because there are several officers named in that lawsuit.
Still a discovery.
Well, it hadn't been started, the answers haven't even been filed yet. It's in its infancy, if you will.
Understood, thank you. And there are other officers that are defendants. Okay. 770, Recon Services. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is the company that owns an apartment building at 55 Morel Street.
I don't know what their property holdings are, to be honest with you.
Can you tell me why they're getting this refund of escrow?
Yes.
It's typical, they, at the time of development, they're required to post a separate performance guarantee as well as an inspection fund escrow. The inspection fund escrow is drawn down when the project's done. If there's any surplus, it gets returned.
I gotcha. Are there conditions of it being returned? I mean, obviously, the project being concluded, does that include, for instance, the dirt being properly removed?
Is that included with when the project is done, is that included with?
That's correct. It's after final inspection. We have no oversight as to what the exportation of any soils that may have been generated during excavation as to where they go. That is a liability of the property owner and the contractor directly.
Okay, well, I believe this dirt from this site ended up somewhere it should not have been, and as I pointed out in the past, it was the subject of the State Commission on Investigation hearing last year, and I would encourage you to look at it before you, do business with this company again. $774, can you just tell me about the nature of this agreement with New Brunswick Tomorrow for housing, community development housing?
It's in the grant.
With NBT, they're helping support our abandoned property, vacant property initiative, and they are pledging $60,000 towards the salary of the individual that we hired earlier in the year to manage that program.
Thank you. And 776, another arrangement with New Brunswick tomorrow. I might have asked this before. Can you tell me what is the physical location of this family-friendly center?
I believe this is Redshaw School, but I'll let maybe Dave speak to that.
Yes, since 1996, we've had a grant from the Department of Children and Families through New Brunswick Tomorrow, and it serves children at the Redshaw Elementary School for an after-school program.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the public? Seeing none, move the resolution.
Second. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. All right, now we have items for discussion by council. I just have two quick things. One, I want to congratulate everybody, Vulcan Pioneers, Psyche Bowser Foundation, and everybody that took part on Saturday. There was a neighborhood march. There was a march against violence, and it was an excellent turnout. They do it every year. And there was free food given out by the Vulcan Pioneers. There was face painting. There was a lot of activities. And it was a positive thing. They marched from First Baptist down to Alice Jennings Park, and it was an excellent community event. And in the future, we would invite everybody to do it. I also want to encourage people, throughout your own heart, there's an initiative right now to help out. It's going to expand beyond Houston. First it was a mission in Houston, but since then, they've had hurricane, they hit Florida and throughout the Caribbean. It's going to be an enormous thing, and I just encourage you to, if you want to work through, I can give you more information afterwards because I don't want to do it in this capacity, but even just giving a couple cases of water will go a long way to help people with anything that we can do to help out, because we know that we were, during Hurricane Sandy, we needed help in this area, and we're trying to really get help to the other areas, especially the underserved areas. Because right now, we talk about Houston and we talk about Florida, but there's a lot of U.S. holdings in the Caribbean that have been devastated, and they get hit, matter of fact, as we speak. So if you can just, like I said, if you could just give out of the abundance of your heart, like I said, a case of water goes a long way, and if we could just spread the word on that. That's it.
Yeah, the rubber duck races are this weekend. It's a good cause for the Bees Foundation for Children's Cancer. So if anybody can come out and enjoy the day down on the river, that's a wonderful event to partake in.
Anybody else? All right, now we'll go to the public portion of the meeting. Please step forward. Please remember that you have 5 minutes. And step forward, give your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Thank you for 188 Brunswick Street. First, I would like to thank the owner of the laundromat on Henry and Baldwin Street, where he did put up the guardrail, even though I still say the city should have been responsible for putting it up instead of him. But I'd just like to thank him for taking effort and making it safe over there. Then also, I'd like to mention, due to where, it's back to school, a few safety issues. That's where it's been I've noticed a safety issue for middle school on Livingston Avenue, due to where I have a couple of pictures here where the crossing guard said that they're having trouble, where they need the orange sticks on the corner where the cars and buses are.
Were they here before? Were the orange sticks there before? Have they ever?
No. Due to where they're cones, but the show, due to where the cars keep pushing them out the way. So I'm asking, can the city please put the orange sticks on the corner of Livingston and 9th, please? To show due to where the crossing guards are, it's giving them a hard time. And then also for middle school, I'm also asking that, while I know Livingston Avenue is city or county, excuse me.
Yes.
I'm asking, can New Brunswick speak up to the county about putting flashers saying this is 15 miles per hour, this is school zone, where I meant like, wow, it's very scary due to where this is 35 miles per hour each way. And as the kids are all coming out due to where I know some of these kids are daredevils, due to where they just run out in the street, but I'm still asking the city if you can put some flashes up saying, okay, it's school time to get out 15 miles per hour, please, both directions.
Could you repeat to me the difference between the 25 miles in New Brunswick most of the time and 35 miles an hour?
I'd like to speak to that, please, the council. That portion of Livingston Avenue is NJDOT right-of-way from Route 1 up onto Nassau Street. There's New Jersey Department Transportation right-of-way. The engineering department several years ago requested strongly the state reduce the speed limit to 25. They refused. They did concede that if the city and North Brunswick would agree, then because the half of Livingston Avenue is in North Brunswick, the other half is in New Brunswick at that point, if North Brunswick would agree, then they would consider creating a 25-mile-an-hour zone just for the blocks between 12th and 9th. This has been ongoing. We've been petitioning the DOT on numerous occasions for a reduction in speed limit, and they've refused. So, for your knowledge.
So, I don't understand what you're saying. New Brunswick has to team up with North Brunswick in order for this to go through? Because I will say thank you to North Brunswick due to where I have noticed that their police officers have been out there helping also due to where, like you said, that is their side. I will say thanks to North Brunswick, but I'm still, come on, this is 35 miles per hour. And I meant, wow, you can see how fast these cars are going. Come on, please. I hope you can do something, no matter how hard you have to keep fighting.
I'll talk after. I know it's a lot, yeah, no.
Oh, like I said, daredevils. Go
Right.
I have pictures of them, how they just run across the street just to try to catch the M14 bus.
Yes.
I do understand that, so it's not all about.
If we can get a person out, like you said, the police, then we'll get somebody out there.
Okay, and also that's where it's been, let's see, starting next month, it'll be almost 2 years for the crosswalk flashes for Lee Avenue and Comstock, Lee Avenue and Delavan Street, Remsen Avenue and Henry Street, Remsen Avenue and Ward Street. This was approved back in, October 15, 2015 for $193,900. Would you please tell me, what's going on? That was where you said once they finish with the piping, okay, that's where they've been finished a while now. So tell me, please, what's going on?
We've had a problem with the contractor that we entered into the agreement with. We're trying to resolve that, and we expect to have a resolution by the next meeting that either we get compliance with the contractor or we reject the contract and start all over again.
So you're saying we'll have an answer?
It's a resolution by the next meeting, October 4th.
Okay. Wow, because like I said, that's been almost two years. Last time I asked, that was where you said once they redid the piping. Okay, and also I would like to, I know I was told that once they redid the repiping again, and then it was time to repave do the roads. That's why I would like to, if it's possible, I would like to see the paperwork that when was Lee Avenue put in to do that, due to where I've known streets that where Lee Avenue was done already, and then I see streets being done, and then all of a sudden their roads are redone. So yes, I would like to see if it's possible some paperwork to state that I know I was told that Lee Avenue was put in to be done. That's been over a month and a half ago, and like I said, I see other roads being done already.
I'm not sure what you want.
Paperwork.
Paperwork to support the last time Lee Avenue was paved?
No, to support due to where the engineering department said that, okay, in order to do the speed bumps, that was where that Lee Avenue had to be repaved again. So, okay, that was where I was told that the paperwork was put in already. But like I said, why am I seeing other streets being done before Lee Avenue?
Yeah.
I would like to point out that I think there's a little bit of confusion, whatever streets have been resurfaced is a function of the DPW's annual road maintenance program. Specific to the public service public service gas replacement project, gas main replacement project. They are committed to, well, they're required to repave. Now, the project has about 50 or 60% of the gas mains have been replaced, and only about 14 or 15% of the services to each individual house have been replaced. We are pushing for them to start repaving any streets that are done at this point. Their position is that they're going to complete any concrete work that needs to be done first, then go ahead and do the paving projects where the services have been completed. That only represents 13% of what the entire, or 14% of what the entire project is. Specific to Lee Avenue, I do not have a finalized date from them, but we have been engaging and pushing them strongly to get that started right away.
Well, see, this is why I said that, wow, traffic authority needs to be recorded too, because that was where you told me a month and a half ago that you put the paperwork through for it to be.
But there's no paperwork.
That, like I said, that's where my point of being, due to where traffic authority meetings to be recorded, due to where, I know what you told me, due to where you said that, okay, you specifically put the paperwork for the road to be done. Where we was talking about for the speed bumps to be done for Lee Avenue. And like I said, please, that's why I keep saying it over and over again, that's why I think you should take the traffic authority meeting.
Thank you.
So, yes, so you're telling me what, that the paperwork hasn't been put through?
There's no paperwork. He said there's no paperwork. You take his word for it. Right now. There's no paperwork. He said there's no official paperwork.
Other than just requesting from public services to start on their repair process, but there's no official paperwork that's associated with that.
Well, like I said, okay, hopefully I will see that soon, due to where, like I said, I've been seeing other streets being paved that already had their piping done, and Lee Avenue was done already. Thank you.
Good evening once again, Charles Craddock in Brunswick today. Earlier tonight, when you passed the tax abatement that's going to cost the school district literally millions of dollars that they would have otherwise gotten had this building been built and not given a tax abatement, you indicated that you'd spoken to members of the Board of Education about this. Can you please identify those board members and tell me what they told you?
No.
Why not?
Because it was a private conversation.
Did they support the tax abatement?
I said no. It's a private conversation.
Okay, so it's a secret what they told
No, it's
you.
not a secret. It's a private conversation. I had a private conversation. I had a private conversation.
Okay. And did they indicate that this is something they support?
Once again, it was a private conversation.
Okay. So you won't say whether this board member that you spoke to
I'm saying it was
indicated
a private
support for this
conversation.
Shift
We can
in
go back
in
to
tax
the
abatement. You're taking money from them. It shouldn't even be
We're not
allowed.
taking- Once
You're
again,
taking
your
money from the
reputation
school
is that we're
system.
taking money from
And
the school system.
You
You're
are.
reporting that you are representing kids from the school system. And they appointed you as.
I'm a
their
citizen of the
spokesperson.
United States, and I'm coming here, and I'm not going to let you question my right to be here and question the laws you're
I have
passing.
never said that. I have never said that.
Well, I'll move on. Mr. Shammy indicated to me that there was a case against two DPW workers. It's going to be moved out in municipal court. Can I get an update? Why hasn't that happened yet?
I responded to Mr. Craddock by email, and contrary to what Mr. Craddock believes, I don't control the municipal court. I don't wear a black robe. But it's my understanding that the municipal court had initially scheduled the matters for an initial hearing, at which time the defendants would be advised that the matter would be switched to another court. The other court that it's going to is not a court that we decide, it's the presiding municipal judge of the county decides where it goes. So they will not, I've said it once, I'll say it again, those cases will not be heard for purposes of adjudication in New Brunswick Municipal Court. I'm not aware of where they're going, but it will not be New Brunswick.
Thank you for clarifying. Can you tell me what happened at 76 Lewis Street, the Westminster Residence Building?
Going back, the sprinkler system blew up, I was told. Somebody from the fire department.
Yeah, 3-inch pipe was in the and it broke.
And so is it true that building's vacant now?
They're repairing it, so no one's gonna let back in. The landlord put up all people, and it's being gutted, the apartments that are affected, and they should be insured. I understand.
Okay, well, I hope that's not a sign of things to come in other buildings that this same developer is building.
I think they sent the pipe out to be tested on how it cracked along and seen it wasn't the head that broke, it was the pipe itself that fractured out. So we'll take out.
And how many people were displaced from their homes? How many people were displaced?
Maybe Mr. Patterson can help on that.
I believe there's about 64 units there. I believe the entire building was displaced, and I believe about half the residents have moved back in. They're still repairing some of the other units there. Some of them need a, be taken down for the studs and all new sheetrocking put in because of the water damage. But I understand about half the residents are either moved back in or in the process of moving back in the next day or two.
And approximately when was this pipe burst?
I don't recall the exact, I think it was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, about 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, about 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay. So I do want to follow up on some of these kind of things that didn't come to be. We were supposed to by now have the Matrix building online. Can you tell me when is that going to finally open? It's called the Quincy now. They changed the name.
Quincy building is supposed to be online.
It's supposed to be online years ago. You gave them a tax abatement.
We don't put the building online. That's a private developer. The contractor does it. As Minister Shannon was saying about the court judges, we don't control the contractor there. That project has dragged on a very, very long time, but we don't have authority to tell construction workers to work faster or anything like that. That's up to the people that own it. It is getting near completion, but that's up to the developer and the contractor there as to when they're all going to get it done, and they have to pass all their inspections.
And how about the grand walkway we were promised that would lead from Easton Avenue to the front door of the Aspire? That's many years old. That was promised. What's the update on that?
Grand walkway to the Aspire.
I believe they still have that construction permit is still open, so I don't know that they're completely finished on that.
Right, so you gave them the tax abatement already, and there's nothing we can do to make them actually improve that piece of land now. Is that correct?
There's something with that. Make them build the grand walkway.
That's really a question for the construction office, but they either have to get a plan amended to show something else or complete that plan. But as to what the timing is on that and what the enforcement measures are, that would be a question for the construction official's office.
Can somebody please follow up with the construction office about improving this disgusting piece of land?
They don't own that any lot next to it, they only own.
Correct.
You know that, right?
Yeah, but it's.
Let me ask you a question, do you know if the final inspection, that's what the final, obviously, they know the final inspection?
See, I'm not the construction office, but the building does have a TCO there, but they won't get a final CO on that until they complete all the details that were in the site plan and in their construction drawings.
They are getting their discount on taxes, and it's being taken from the school system by you guys. Another kind of major failure, the fresh grocer left town owing $1 million to the parking authority. Are we ever going to get that money back or no?
Are we ever going to get the money back? Fresh grocery. There's a new tenant in there.
That's the parking authority.
To answer that question, I think that's a business between the parking authority and the private tenant. I don't know information about that.
Cost us $1 million. Anybody know how many jobs there are at that new supermarket? Super Fresh Grocer? Super Fresh?
How many jobs are there?
Yeah. How many people are employed there? Approximately. Okay, because I recall some of you were at an event, there was an enormous celebration at the grand opening of the Fresh Grocer, and the mayor proclaimed 300 jobs had been created, and there were, most of those folks were local folks from the city of New Brunswick, and those statements were not even true at the time, but now they're really way out there. They don't have 300 people working at that supermarket, do
They
they?
did create jobs at some point, right?
Yeah, I had one. It was one good job.
You worked there,
I did. It was a disaster. So I'm just asking, how many jobs were really created with that project, or
I'm sure there were construction workers who built the building, but I don't know what the context, Mr. Crowder.
Are you talking about construction worker, or are you talking about people working?
No, I'm talking about permanent jobs. Any idea how many are there? It's not 300. I'd be surprised if it's 100. Okay, so that's another area where the city's fallen short of what it's promised. I never got to go there, but there was supposedly a great Hungarian restaurant where there's now the parking authority's lot on between Prospect and Plum. You guys tore down the whole thing. You built one building. You built the Plum Street deck. Chardash, yes sir. I never got to go there, and apparently they were pushed out for a plan by AST Development, a very connected developer named Mr. Robert DeAnton, and well, he could only build one of the two buildings he promised, so he left the other lot vacant. Now the parking authority uses a surface parking lot. That restaurant was kicked out of their space and had to close, and never, for no good reason, because no actual building came through there. That was another broken promise by the city. But the promise I'm concerned about is that AST Development said when they built those buildings they were going to add traffic lights at those two intersections that are really bad intersections, one on Somerset and one on French. Can you tell me, is AST going to be held accountable for their broken promises?
Anybody? AST? Or
They're still the designated developer over there. I believe that at some point they're going to come forth with a new plan for that area. Discussed with Mr. Crowderville numerous times in the past regarding the traffic lights. I think the opinion has changed that putting them there would not be particularly beneficial. They would not improve the traffic, given their proximity to other traffic lights in the area, that if it's better the way it is currently. If there's future development there, that might change.
I gotta be honest, you've got to stop giving away the farm to the developers because they're gonna burn you. And this is a case where we got burned. Another developer you got in league that didn't work out was Tecton Development. You guys had to take over their whole job at the firehouse that has been turned into Unity Square. And just can I get an update on when that firehouse museum is gonna be built?
do we know when the firehouse museum?
The original project did not include the fit out of the museum. It was a core and shell, meaning upstairs. We should have a draft bid package for the fit out to the museum for presentation, probably internally in the next 2 weeks, with the expectation to put that out in the street approximately a month later.
Glad to hear it. How about the old Votech school in Mr. Egan's neighborhood? Anything on the horizon there anytime soon? It keeps getting delayed.
Votech, New Brunswick, the old New
That's owned by
Brunswick.
St. Peter's Hospital, and they still have to decide what they're planning on doing.
And about 10 years ago, there was an enormous plan announced for the neighborhood right near here, Pinnacle at New Brunswick Station. It's supposed to be a hotel, a giant residential building, supermarket, fitness center, all kinds of stuff. Nothing ever happened, and it's a block of mostly boarded up homes now. What's going to happen there? Why didn't anything happen there over the past 10 years that the mayor promised?
That was before my time. I was here around that time. 10 years, 2007. Anybody?
The Great Recession happened.
Great recession happened. Thank you for coming.
Stop letting the developers get what they want.
Thank you.
They deserve it.
Anybody else from the public? Seeing none?
Move to close.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Fleming.
Yes. This meeting is ended.